Good evening, friends. Welcome to the daily editorial analysis and answer writing. In these discussions, we take up one of the most important editorials from the newspaper and we link it to the syllabus of the UPSC mains examination, and we try to analyze it and we try to write a model answer. Okay, so let me just share with you today's. Yeah. So this is today's editorial. I hope that this is visible to all of you. Okay. Here, the basically the editorial is on federalism and the nature of federalism India has. It is on the nature of federalism India has. The author has named the editorial as the era of combative federalism. The era of combative federalism. So before we start the discussion on this editorial, let me briefly tell you what do we understand by federalism. Federalism is an arrangement where the power of the state is divided between the central government and the provincial government. And this division of the power is basically there written in the constitution, is written in the constitution. Okay. So there is a constitutional division of power between the central government and the state governments. Okay. That is what is federalism. So if we have to see the evolution of federalism in India, okay, there are four stages. There are four stages, okay, from 1950 to 1967. That was the stage one. From stage two starts from 1967 to, I can say that it was till 1989, okay. And this stage two also has two sub stages, okay, that I will tell you. Then stage 3 had, okay, starts from 1989 onwards till 2014, okay. And then there is a stage 4, and stage 4 is 2014 onwards, 14 onwards. And I'll tell the names of the stages, okay. But I would just tell you why I have categorized the federalism of India into these stages, okay. So what we see that between 1950 to 1967, between 1950 to 1967, India had only one party rule, both at the center government and at the state governments. Most of the states were basically ruled by the Indian National Congress. So there was very less friction between the central government and the state government, okay. See, wherever there is a division of power, there will be friction, there is bound to have friction. But since the same party was ruling at the state level and the same party was ruling at the center level, so this phase was mostly a centralized, we had a centralized system 1950 to 1967. But there was no friction, because there was only one party rule, which was basically the Indian National Congress, okay. So this was a very smooth phase. However, it was centralized, the federalism was tilting towards center, okay. When we see 1967 is called the watershed in the era of Indian politics. So what happened in 1967? In many of the state governments, okay, the Congress lost power to regional parties, and many regional parties, they formed the government. So what happened was, there was an attempt by the central government, and there was an attempt by the like center to control these states using the governor. Yes, like few days back we have discussed the position of governor. Few days back we have discussed the position of governor. When I was discussing the position of governor, my friends, I had used the word that governor is like a linking pin between the center and the state. Governor is one of the most important institution for the federalism in India, okay. So there was what happened, article 356 was being misused during this era, okay, 1967 to 1989. So there was a lot of tussle was happening between this the so the relationship between center state relationship was not very cordial. The center state relationship was not very cordial. States were always opposing the center, and center was trying to control using the governors. During this era only, the governor position got politicized. During this era only, the position of governor got politicized in India, Okay, this era 1967 to 1989 is very important. Okay, misuse of Article 356, misuse of position of governor was very rampant during this phase. Okay, then comes the year 1989. 1989 is another watershed year in Indian politics. What happened after 1989? Okay, coalition politics started at the center. Coalition politics started at the center, and the state started playing a very important role in the national politics also. Why? Because many of the regional parties which were basically ruling the state had some major contribution in the parliament also. They won many seats in the parliament also, and they had a role in the formation of government. So many regional parties which were ruling at the state governments had their role in the formation of the central government also. We all know that in the NDA and in the UPA, many regional parties were there. Many regional parties were there because it's a coalition government. No one party had a majority. No one party had a majority. So from 1989 to 2014, what we see that cooling off of tension. There is very less tension happening between the center and state, and more states have more say in the government and the decisions of the central government. Okay, then there was little bit, okay, reduction in the use of or misuse of Article 356 or the president's rule. There was little bit reduction. There was reduction in the misuse of Article 356. Okay, but what happened after 2014? After 2014, okay, when again a single party got the majority, again a single party, okay, one party has got the majority. Okay, what happened? On one hand, what happened, that the government is saying that we are going for cooperative federalism, and they went on to dismantle the planning commission, which was criticized by many that it was against the federal structure, because it was used to disburse funds also, which was not basically envisioned in the constitution. Okay, so the first decision or the second decision taken by the government after the winning of election, okay, was that dismantling of planning commission, and they replaced it with Niti Aayog, and saying that Niti Aayog will bring cooperative federalism. Okay, so the policy of the central government after 2014 is that we want to encourage cooperative federalism. However, many of the states, they are feeling suffocated, that their space are being taken up by the center, and they are being basically there is a misuse of provision of governor, and there is a lot of interference by the central government in the state administration. There is a criticism, and this phase 2014 onwards, where the tensions are rising, between the state government and the central government. Okay, every year, this phase, what the author has called combative federalism. Combative federalism. So in this stage, okay, we have what, as per the government says that we are having cooperative federalism. States says that we are having combative federalism. Combating means fighting. There is a fight between the center and the state, and center also uses the word or competitive federalism. Competitive federalism. So I'm going to explain each and every term related to this. So let me first come with the brief introduction. With this brief introduction, the four stages of Indian federalism, 1950 to 1967. Okay, centralized federalism. Then 1967 to 1989, little bit of combative federalism. Then again 1989 to 2014, cooperative federalism. And after 2014, government discourse is what is government's opinion? Government is saying that we are in the era of cooperative federalism, because we have dismantled the planning commission, and we are in the era of competitive federalism. What I will explain you what is competitive federalism, but the states are saying no, you are basically nothing but you are having a combative federalism. So let us see what are the instances where let us see what are the instances where basically the author uses to justify that this federalism which we are having right now in India is a combative federalism. Why the author says that? Let us try to examine it. why the author has to use this harsh word. This is a very harsh word to use, I must say this, that using of the word combative federalism is a very harsh word. So why the author says this, let us try to see. So what the author begins his editorial with: the recent controversy regarding service all India service rules 1954, Indian administrative IAS cadre rules, okay, cadre rules, okay, which has basically triggered a controversy between the center and the state. Okay, here basically the state's allegation is that the center is trying to control the all India services. Okay, see, all India services was created by the makers of the constitution, okay, in order to basically strengthen the federal structure of the country. Okay, strengthen the federal structure of the country. What are these all India services? See, all India services were basically envisioned in the constitution to occupy the strategic positions in the state government, and also at the central government. They occupy IAS, Indian Administrative Services. They occupy all the strategic posts. Okay, if you start from the district collector and SDO, then goes up to the secretary. So all the strategic positions are basically occupied by Indian Administrative Service. And the notion was that it will behave like a link between the center and the state, and it will maintain the integrity in the administration and protect the integrity and unity of the country also. Okay, and to a great extent IAS had played a very important role in the post-independent history, particularly in maintaining the integrity and unity of the India. Okay, but the recent cadre rules, where the center has taken the authority to basically control over the deputation of officers. See, what happens that we have something called a split system. We have something called a split system. What is this split system? Let me just explain to you what is a split system. In split system, what happens that this civil servants, they are in the state government, okay, for some time, okay, and then they are also deputed at the central government, okay, central government. So this, who will control this deputation? Now center has a very important role, deciding role. Okay, the last answer will be of center will decide which officer has to be deputed to the central government or not. Previously the state government used to offer these officers are there for the central deputation, and the center used to take those officers only. But now the last decision is with the center. And many of the state governments have basically criticized this move, particularly the state governments which are basically ruled by opposition. For example, we see Kerala, West Bengal, Jharkhand, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu. So these are the states which have opposed this amendment to the IAS cadre rules 1954. Okay, because they say that it is basically impacting, okay, impacting federalism. Okay, because they are losing control over their offices. And this has been termed as combative federalism by the author, that this kind of federalism where center is trying to basically interfere in the administration of state governments, and the states are opposing this interference. This kind of relationship is not cooperative, rather than it is combative. And then what the author does, he goes to 2014 and says that since this government has come to power in 2014, okay, there have been series of instances where state governments have basically seen this interference by the central government in their affairs. Okay, and what are these interferences? He quotes various examples. The first example he quotes is that of the Uttarakhand chief minister terming the federalism as combative federalism when Article 356 was used to dismiss his government. Article 356 was used to dismiss his government. Okay, this was the first use of Article 356 after this government came into power, and there was allegations from the state government, that time the state government, that this Article 356 is being misused. Okay, misused. Then there was a case of governor of Arunachal Pradesh, where the governor took the decision without the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers headed by the Chief Minister in basically summoning the assembly, where later on the Supreme Court and the High Court had to intervene, and they basically gave a judgment where they said that the governor has to go as per the advice of the Council of Ministers headed by the Chief Minister. The governor cannot take these decisions, okay, as per his discretion. Okay, so this was another instance, another instance where the role of governor came into controversy. So whenever question related to governor's role in the federal setup comes, or whenever a question on federalism comes, you can quote these examples, of misuse of Article 356 by governors. Similarly, we have the case of Goa, Karnataka, Maharashtra, where governor, acting beyond his constitutional brief by inviting parties and formation which did not have adequate majority to form the government. Okay, see, there is a kind of situational discretion given to the governor by the constitution. There is a situational discretion in the hands of governor when no party has the majority. When no party has a clear cut majority, it is up to the governor to call any party and prove its majority. So what happened in Maharashtra? No party had the majority, so the governor called some party, and that party did not or could not successfully basically prove the majority, and then the other party and its coalition proved this majority. So that time also the role of governor, particularly in this situational discretion, became very controversial. Similarly, we all know the controversy in the NCT, National Capital Territory. So we all know that there are two union territories where we have an elected government also. Okay, which is basically the Puducherry and the basically the National Capital Territory. Okay, NCT. So there also we saw a lot of controversy between, a lot of tussle between the lieutenant governor and the elected chief minister, where it was said that the lieutenant governor is behaving as an alternate power center, and in that the Honorable Supreme Court came out with a judgment saying that since we have an elected, the lieutenant governor, if not specifically mentioned in the constitution, has to work as per the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers headed by the chief minister. Okay, and now the author goes on to say that now what is happening 2020, West Bengal controversy related to the chief secretary of West Bengal, where in a meeting when the prime minister visited the state government, there was a controversy, and the chief secretary was basically was asked to explain his action, and there were some actions taken up by the central government against him. However, the state government started defending it, and there was a lot of tussle about this all India service. Okay, about this all India service, what is their role, who can control them, either the state government or the central government. Okay, similarly there is the controversy regarding the central agencies like CBI, NIA, okay, ED. Okay, it has been criticized by many of the state governments that the center is using these central agencies against the opposition ruled states, against the opposition ruled states. There is a misuse of these institutions, particularly the CBI, the ED, and basically these institutions are being used to arm twist the opposition leaders. And that is why what has happened is that states have withdrawn the general consent given to the CBI. States have withdrawn the general consent given to the CBI. Okay. And that has led to various issues, particularly in the functioning of CBI. Okay. So you see, there is a lot of combative approach by the states. States are not taking this interference by the center, okay, very lightly. Okay, very lightly. They are trying to resist. They are trying to resist. So this issue of CBI, this issue of ED, also you can quote. You don't need to go in deep. You don't need to go in deep. Just quote these examples. Quote these examples. That would be more than enough. CBI, NIA, ED. Okay, ED. Okay, and then it says that the recent controversy in Kerala, where basically the principal secretary to the chief minister was also basically charge sheeted by this NIA, ED, and the customs department. And in return, the state government police also basically put an FIR against the central agencies. Then there was also an issue where Foreign Regulation Contribution Act was invoked, and an FIR was lodged against the state government for taking basically money from foreign entities. So you see overall, most of these cases, they have some political angle. And that is the contention of the author, that now we are moving towards combative federalism. Okay, although the government's policy is that we will have a cooperative federalism, but what we can analyze by the actions in the past couple of years is that we are having a combative federalism. There is a lot of conflict between the center and states. Okay, and states are resisting interference by the center. Okay, interference by the center. And in the end, author says that what we need is the collaborative federalism. What we need is a collaborative federalism. And this is what the federalism, basically the constitution has basically envisioned. The constitution has envisioned collaborative federalism, where both the center and the state governments, they come together, they coordinate to achieve the national objective. My friends. So what we need is collaboration, and there are various institutions of collaboration which was envisioned by the constitution, and article 263, which is interstate council, is one of that institution. Other institutions like the finance commission, and there are other institutions also, whether constitutional or legislative, or there are some institutions which are executive also, like the Niti Aayog is an executive agency. It is not a legislative or statutory body. It is not an constitutional body, but it's an executive body. And Niti Aayog, I told you, the mandate of the Niti Aayog is basically what? The mandate of Niti Aayog is what? It is to bring cooperative federalism. That is a mandate, but to what extent it has been successful in achieving this cooperative federalism, we have to ask this question. But overall, if you see the manner in which center and states are fighting, we cannot call it a collaborative or cooperative federalism. Rather than we have to call it a combative federalism. Okay, here I would like to quote one paragraph which was written here in the article, and this is paragraph basically quoted in the Supreme Court case. And this is very important. In any question on federalism, you can use this quotation. What is that? Union government and the state government should endeavor to address the common problems with the intention to arrive at a solution by showing statesmanship, combined action, and sincere cooperation. The Constituent Assembly, while framing the Constitution, never envisioned okay, where the center and the state governments are basically fighting. Okay, this was not envisioned, and we have to go back to the vision of the collaborative cooperative federalism, which was basically envisioned in our constitution. That is the crux of the answer. That is the crux of the answer. Okay, so just to sum up, what I will do is that just to sum up what I will do is that I'll just tell you the important points. First, what we learned today, stages of federalism. First, what we learned today was stages of federalism. Stages of federalism. I told there are four stages. Stage 1, 1950 to 1967. Stage 2, which is basically 1967 to 1989. Then stage 3, 1989 to 2014. Then stage 4, 2014 to now till 2000. If you can say that 2023, I can say 2024, what we can say is that at least 2021 and 2, which is going on, we can say this. Okay, this we can tell. And then we can tell what are the instances where we are compelled to say that it is a combative federalism. So one is what? Misuse of 356, then misuse of governor's discretionary power. Okay, next, the central agencies. Okay, so these are some of the points which can be put forward to prove that it's a combative federalism. On the other hand, there are few points which you can put forward to say no, it's a collaborative federalism where center and states are coming together to collaborate. For example, GST Council. But in GST also, center and state are not on the right terms. State governments are saying, they're criticizing that we have basically, okay, so like in GST also, okay, GST also there is a mm, and has been provided, okay, where there is a collaborative federalism provided in the GST, okay, but here also states are being saying that we are not getting the basically the compensation which was promised to them, okay, which was promised to them, okay. So this is the overall answer. You can use the statement which is mentioned in the editorial. You can just write down, this is a very important editorial statement which you can use in your answer writing. Okay, overall, if you have liked this discussion, okay, you can basically subscribe the channel, and you can share with your friends, and you can let me know the next topic which you want to be discussed every day. What you can do is that you can comment in the channel, and we need this topic next day, we need that topic. I will discuss that editorial. Whatever topic you will decide from that Hindu editorial or Indian Express editorial, just let me know, okay, in the morning. I will discuss that editorial in the evening. Okay, thank you friends. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and please share this. Please do comment also.